Hello people, this is Power here to review the Kamen Saber DX X-Swordman Wonder Ride book. So this is the power-up book. This is the power-up book belonging to Kamen Psycho, as this allows Yuri to actually be in control of the body, as obviously his whole entire consciousness was within the sword. So, here we go with Psycho. Wonderful, and Psycho Powerful. I love the box design for this. Like, I love the vibrant colors on this thing. Man, this is actually one of the few, because of this is actually one of the few toys that kind of actually made me wish I had the box for the set, because that is, visually pleasing. Weep. So here we go with X-Swordman, which is a pretty interesting book, because obviously this is mostly supposed to be a comic book. Although I don't know why, because you're a comic book, you have to be colored orange and green. I'm confused. Oh, here's the back, because we're here for some reason. Here's the QR code for Gambarizing, obviously because it is a giant book. It's plastered in the back for some reason. The size of this is pretty interesting. The shape for sure is a lot more reasonable than Jolly Dragon. I still never understand the entire, build for that. Again, here it is. X-Swordman just simplifies what Jolly Dragon was doing. And it just makes it a lot more comfortable. Because this thing, I understand you need securance, but this is obnoxious. And plus, the drawback is that the speaker's in the back, while this one they just decide to put at the top. And then here we have Movie Drift right there, X-Swordman. Because obviously this is supposed to be a spin-off of Sword X-Man. Again, I've yet to watch the show, but I know these details thanks to Twitter. Here's the story page, which is pretty cool. Now, the transformation pages, we're going to have to go through by here. So here's Psycho, colorful, essentially. This is, the main X-Swordman transformation page, but I guess subtitle is Psycho Colorful. Next page, we got Psycho Powerful, where Psycho Shadow wields X-Swordman as a sword, or as a bladed weapon. Then we got Psycho Wonderful, where he moves Psycho Shadow, has X-Swordman as his leg. It's essentially Climax form. And then, sadly with this one, the button is just at the bottom, which is annoying, especially when you want to try to do, the typical, button press and then page turning. It just sucks. And also, I should explain here that the cover page is very springy. This is the most springy book we've ever had. There we got the activation. Now we have 4 story announcements. Again, despite being a comic, I don't know why they're titled as episodes. Again, this is very bendy also. yeah, so let's take a look at this interesting design. So let's transform into Psycho. So, obviously, you want to take X-Swordman and slot it into the Psycho driver itself. We get this fantastic standby. Now, obviously, what you want to do with the Kogoken Psycho is that obviously you want to have this button and this button, you know, just like you are doing the finisher. And obviously this will flip down, which I won't be able to show, sadly. So, let's try to do this. So there you get surround sound on the Psycho Hako, and then just like I can't think of a more recent toy. There is a more recent toy, but the only thing I can really think of is the Meteor Driver and the Meteor Storm switch, where like, you know, you activate that thing, you spin the top, and then like you have the standby the Meteor Driver playing while, you know, the transformation sound plays. That's essentially what this is doing. Again, there's a more recent toy. Oh yeah, the Hikari Kyutama. But yeah, so it might sound like a mess, but honestly, I appreciate it. And I just really like how these two actually get along and such. Obviously, we have the forms to go through and such. Typically, technically in the show, Yuri both does it from here and then just taps it, or by manually tapping it. I'm just going to do it by the side of the Kogoken, or the Psycho. Yeah, I prefer calling it the Kogoken, but then that's just kind of like calling the Rekka the Kaiken. Anyways, I'm just going to tap the button with this, just so then this actually gets some use. And last but not least, this thing really has fantastic jingles. Yeah, they're not like Dragon Ignite or King Lion, but like I still appreciate how they are, just how simplified they are. We actually get a closing sound for once, because now you want to open the cover and press the cover back. Now we're initiating into the finisher mode, to which you just simply press the button. Obviously, each form has a finisher, so and yes, you can just tap this to move on. I don't think that's as fun though. And the thing too is that I don't understand why they didn't do this, but like, again, this is literally made like similar sound wise. It's made similar to Jaw Dragon, where it relies on this thing for the slashing sound because it needs that sound for the transformation, because then essentially if you don't press these two hard enough, then you just get blankness. And I'm really happy this didn't happen to me, but like I want to say at least be wary when you're playing with this, because sometimes this one's minor, but like, you know, sometimes this will get stuck, and just to you know, which essentially, if it's like this, it won't allow you to flip the other pages, and again, it will fix itself up. My main issue, which I think which is just, you know, a traditional thing with these buckles, is that essentially you put in way too much pressure when you're trying to do the transformation. So like, you essentially press too hard. As you can tell, nothing happened. Or, like, obviously because of how this sits, I don't know how to demonstrate this. Essentially, it will, like, you know, reset itself. Like, it will just simply do, like, something like that. It will reset itself. If you, like, essentially try to, like, you know, be realistic, essentially, and just simply, like, slam that down. But I'm talking about this way too much, so let's just get the sword driver once again. Like, I know, like, technically with Draw Dragon, I know I should have... Why can't I zoom in? I know I technically shouldn't have used the Ikazuchi, because we're just gonna deal with the same thing. But however, this time would be different, because I don't understand this, but X-Swordman's a divine beast for some reason. I understand why they put it in here. It's because you can't put any big books in this slot. And they wanted to have this be like... So they wanted to, like, make this book, you know, in the same vein as the previous power-up books. But I guess they knew that it wasn't going to be able to fit in here. So they decided to put it in this slot. Like, man. So again, we're just going to put it into this slot. With the same fantastic standby. This standby is amazing. I think because this thing was sitting, it didn't recognize this, so it didn't go through the lights. Obviously, the same sounds. This is how you form change. You have to keep pulling it out. And obviously the finisher. Then if you want to do these things, I don't think I did the Hisatsu reads in this. I don't think I did them in the previous review, so I'll do this again. Because if I do this one, obviously it's Densetsu no Shinju. I apologize, I forgot to do this in the previous review, so... Honestly, there's no point of me putting this in the Jock and Caliber driver because it's just, you'll be expecting the same stuff. Unless you want to hear the struggle. Like that. See, this is literally the Amen Force. See, this is the same stuff I was talking about. Where it would just constantly like keep resetting itself. Anyways. So there's our second giant monster, which, you know, that won't be a thing much later. But yeah, overall, my thoughts on X-Swordman is that I think so far this one's probably like, I do really like this one. For the power-ups, I won't necessarily call it my favorite, because I honestly just, I can't really say I have a favorite. But like, I just like how this one like essentially improves on Jaw Dragon's stick, and it's really interesting how they incorporated the like pages, because I forgot that was the entire gimmick. And I just like how much of a contrast it is compared to like Psycho's original Wonder Ride book. The play pattern is also pretty interesting too. Like, yeah, it's definitely going to be like a struggle because, you know, just to like try to align the Kogoken up to the Psycho Driver and then making sure you get the trigger hitting sound, and then like obviously trying to like, what the heck, temperature? Stop this right now. Overall, I just really like what this one brings into the power-ups within the series. And you know, just I think like I think it just does kind of suck that this one doesn't have the like same chip as this one. So then we could have had two books with this, because again, it doesn't make sense that this one is a divine beast if this one's supposed to be a story or a comic specifically. But like other than that, like this one should be relatively cheap to get, because this is at the point where, like, you know, Saber toys are actually still, you can actually still obtain them, because the next, you know, after that, nope. Obviously, as I mentioned before, you can get this with a set with the Kogoken Psycho, which, like I said, like, I kind of actually have to say, go for the set. I like the box for that one. And honestly, I think it just makes the Kogoken Psycho set a lot, like, more fuller. Because just, like, I think just having, like, this Wonder Ride book really just completes, like, the entire, like, Psycho, like, roundup, essentially. Because it's just, like, you know, like, I just, like, I think it, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But it is kind of weird that, like, essentially it's like, you know, you have the Kogoken Psycho, but you don't have a Wonder Ride book to put in the Psycho Driver itself. So having this thing is like, yeah, that makes logical sense and such. I'm literally don't know what I'm trying to say at this point, so this is PowerRider, and I'll leave you people. Bye.